Gumo from Vilnius, the capital of what once was, believe it or not, the largest country in Europe, Lithuania, which today is just known, or rather unknown as, a small Baltic state, which was once part of the Soviet Union. It really is a shame that people don't know this place because look at it, it's absolutely beautiful. Good old Vilnius. It's my first time in the Baltics, and so far I've really been enjoying it. So yeah, let's see what else Vilnius has to offer. Wow, look at old Vilnius. It's so peaceful and beautiful. It's probably the least Soviet city I've ever been to in the former Soviet Union, because Lithuania is probably the country that has tried the hardest out of all the post-Soviet states to remove any reminder of its Soviet past, because the Lithuanians had it pretty bad back then. People were sent to the gulags, to labor camps, just a lot of terrible stuff, you know. They're not too fond of the Soviets, to say the least. Wow, look at this exhibition. Where was I? Oh yeah, the Lithuanians, not too fond of the Russians. What I do appreciate about the Lithuanians is that they were kind enough to leave. They didn't seem to destroy the Russian Orthodox churches, which is very generous. That's pretty cool. I like that. I need to show you guys the craziest place I've found in Vilnius in terms of shopping. Okay, check it out. So you enter the 24/7 shop, and then you need to scan your card, which sounds super sus, but they don't take any money yet. And this store is unmanned. At least I think so. So you just take whatever you want, like this sandwich. What's that? Salmon. Let's go. And some coffee. You have your coffee and your sandwich. You go to the checkout, and somehow they scan not only the sandwich but also the coffee, even though I literally did nothing. That is Lithuania's most modern market. Okay, let's get out of here. I don't know what exactly it is about the morning light. It's kind of different from the golden hour in the evening. It seems like, to me, that the light, you have like the more brighter, neutral, white light of the afternoon, but the dramatic shadows of the evening. And in the evening, it's all very orange, which can also be cool for photographing. I'm talking about photography, by the way. Should have mentioned that. Labas. Labas. I said it wrong, it's labas. And where was I? Yeah, for photographing, I think the evening light can sometimes be a bit kitsch, I guess, a bit too melancholic, but in the morning, you just have this lovely light and these long shadows. In Lithuania, or Vilnius, you also have a lot of Orthodox churches from back in the day, from the Russian Empire. Look, 1868. This is what I mean, look at the light. You can kind of see the shadows of the trees, the foliage, just painting the facade, and it just looks lovely. I don't know what it is. The mornings are just based. The city is so amazing because it has so many different architectural styles that you can especially see in the churches. You know, you have some Vilnian Baroque, but then you also have this beautiful, oh my, what the hell? Look at this. That's a Gothic church. A beautiful Gothic church. Wow. Oh, and up there you have, what is that? Is that Baroque? That might be Baroque. I'm not an expert on architecture, although I'm very fascinated by it. But look at that. it might have been bombed or something in the war, and then they rebuilt the top part of the church in a different style. Did you know that this church was made of 34 different types of bricks? Yeah, I knew that from, common knowledge, you know what I'm saying? Didn't read it off that sign over there. Oh my God, look at this place. This might actually be the prettiest city I've been to in Europe. It kind of reminds me a bit of Prague, but it's a bit smaller. Damn, I really need to get my lazy ass out of bed early more often. I mean, I'm shitting myself. Look at this. The lighting, the atmosphere in the morning. I know I keep raving on about the morning. I'm not really the type of person to get up early usually, but when I travel, I try to, for the grind, for the photography, you know what I'm saying? And for making videos, of course. Yeah, there's less people to witness you talking to a stick in the morning, which is good. It's less cringe. I've come to one of the more peculiar places of Vilnius, which is actually a country. There's a country in Vilnius, which is called the Uzupio Respublika. So apparently Uzupio was like a district of Vilnius, which was kind of problematic back in the 90s. And it was like a hub spot for a lot of different people, for homeless people, for prostitutes, and also for artists. And then in 1997, on the 1st of April, they semi-ironically declared their independence. I've never heard of a state semi-ironically declaring their independence, but here you have it. The Uzupio Respublika. Zarachanskaya Respublika, something in Yiddish, probably. Respublika Zarečie, that's Russian and Polish. Republika Zarzecha. Those Poles can't hide their goofy-ass CZ combinations for long from me. I wonder what the first language is. Might be Belarusian. Oh, look, there's a swing down there. So epic. Let's cross the border into the Zarachanskaya Respublika. Wow. So exciting. There's no border controls. That hand is the symbol of the crest that decorates the flag of the Uzupis Republic. And apparently it changes color depending on the season. How epic is that? I think it was blue. I think it's blue now. It's May, so I guess blue is spring. So much street art here. Pretty epic. So yeah, what do I mean by a semi-ironically independent state? I mean, the people of this district were just like, yeah, we're declaring independence. Nobody recognizes the Uzupis Republic, but they have their own constitution, their own president, even their own currency. That I don't know if it's worth anything. Reminds me a bit of Transnistria, but it seems more chill than Transnistria, which is basically just a Russian extension into Moldova. But in Uzupis, it seems like it's more of like an artsy hipster kind of thing, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, just, I don't know. I'm bad with words, but you can see for yourself. Here on this road, you can actually find the constitution of the Uzupis Republic written on the wall and translated into 25, I think, languages. Here it is, the Constitution of Uzupis, and here in English. I'll read it for you. 1. Everyone has the right to live by the river Vilneli, that's the river we just crossed, and the river Vilneli has the right to flow by everyone. Everyone has the right to hot water, heating in winter, and a tiled roof. Everyone has the right to die, but this is not an obligation. Okay. Everyone has the right to die, to idle. Okay, you get the point. It's a pretty lax, chill kind of constitution, which I like. I like Uzupis. Could live here. the guardian angel of Uzupis. This is where on the 1st of April, the people of Uzupis celebrate their independence. It doesn't really help that they declared independence on April Fool's Day. I don't know how serious they take it. You know, nobody knows except the Uzupians. Very interesting. The Dalai Lama has actually visited Uzupis in the past, and they actually gave him honorary citizenship. How amazing is that? And they also made this for him, the Tibet Square. Take a book, return a book. Wow, what a cool place. And you have one of these, I don't know what they're called. The ones that spin, usually. What happens to an artist when he loses his purpose? These questions are too deep for me, especially at 8 in the morning. Wow, but what a cool place Uzupis is. All right, let's head back to Vilnius for now. We're leaving the Uzupio Respublika. I like that on the signs. They just have a smiley face, drive 20, the Mona Lisa, and don't drive into the river, which makes sense, sort of. And yeah, now we are crossing the bridge back to Vilnius, back to Lithuania, over the beautiful Vilnine. We just read it, I already forgot the name of the river. Sounds like Vilnius. That's probably where the city got its name from. Wow, we found a synagogue as well, right here. Napoleon once called Vilnius the Jerusalem of the North. There used to be a lot of Jews living in Vilnius, but during the German, and then oh my God, it's a Soviet trolley bus. During the German and later Soviet occupation, well, y'all know what happened there. Some sad stuff. Well, as beautiful as old Vilnius is, I started to get the itch a little bit. The itch for some Soviet goodness, some concrete and steel. And what lies beyond this river is exactly what I was searching for. Oh yes, baby, this is what I'm talking about. Behold the palace of culture and sport. Wow, this really is a far cry from what you have over there on the other side of the river. The old beautiful Vilnius. Here you have the old Soviet slabs here on the floor where the vegetation is making its way through the cracks. Look at these old dilapidated stairs. Wow. Yo, that is crazy. I have come to a bit of an older neighborhood called Žvėrynas, which is known for its beautiful wooden houses, which is very nice. It's like authentic Lithuanian architecture. And you have a lot of them here, you know. Here you have some as well. And over there. I have come to a district called Laždinai, which is, as you can see, worlds apart from the rest of Vilnius, the beautiful old town. These are the same commune blocks you can find everywhere scattered around the post-Soviet countries from Moldova to Uzbekistan. But the difference is that Lithuania and the Baltic states in general are far wealthier than, the Central Asian states or even Eastern European states, which you can really see when you look at these public places. You see you have these modern new benches, very beautiful, it's kept very well. You have like a tree with some support. It looks really nice over here, whereas in other countries that is unfortunately not the case. Of course it's cool for me as like a photographer because it's like stepping back in time, but like for the people living here, I can imagine that it's hardly nice. But yeah, it's interesting to see. Dunai. But yeah, we are heading to a different district, which is over there, where you can see the Soviet Tower. Let's continue. Well, I've made it to the TV tower of Karoliniškės, which looks like it's basically a saucer impaled on a stick. A Soviet TV tower. Now you might be thinking, did you just ride your bike all this way just to see a Soviet TV tower? And the answer to that is yes. But this time there's actually a pretty good reason for it. And no, it's not just because it's a Soviet tower that looks cool. A very tragic event has occurred in front of this TV tower back in 1991 in January, almost a full year after Lithuania has regained its independence from the Soviet Union. On the 11th of January, Soviet tanks started to roll into Vilnius, trying to regain the Soviet power over Lithuania. They were heading for all the important buildings like the Parliament building, also the radio stations and everything. And when people heard that on the radio, they rushed to the streets to block the soldiers and tanks from entering. Things were escalating quite a bit over the next 2 days, and 2 days later, on the 13th of January, shortly after midnight, people reported seeing tanks which were on the way to this very tower. When people heard that, they assembled in front of the TV tower, again trying to block the way inside by the Soviet troops. In the center, the Soviets surrounded and stormed the Radio and Television Committee building, where they shot over the heads of the crowd, which also hit one person who was then killed. Back in the tower, they realized that the broadcast was interrupted and noticed that the Soviet tanks were nearing. Hundreds of people were injured and 14 killed, 12 shot to death and 2 crushed by tanks. In the end, the Soviet troops withdrew because the people of Lithuania would not back down. And till the very end, they would tenaciously defend their freedom and sovereignty. In Lithuania, the 13th of January 1991 went down in history as the Day of the Defenders of Freedom. Well, although the Lithuanians ultimately emerged victorious, the whole event is still a big tragedy because of all the people who were injured and the people who lost their lives, which is why it's very understandable that Lithuania wants to erase as much of its Soviet history as possible, because the recent wounds that it has caused scar many people to this day. Wow, I'd love to talk to some people who witnessed the event, but I kind of have to hurry up because my bicycle rental expires soon. The shop is closing in less than an hour, so I have to hurry up a bit. Next time.